Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Two, three. Testing 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I guess this is going to be the first public live stream I've ever done. So, hello. Bom dia, bom dia. I don't know why and how some people know that I'm Brazilian. So some people, I see sometimes people commenting in Portuguese. So I guess they know somehow I'm Brazilian. I don't know how, but that's it. All right, so let's just jump right into it. So the thing that we're going to be doing here today is just to, let's see what we have in here. So we already have some progress implementing the GASP plus the ALS system into here. I already have the overlays done. So as you can see, if you take a look at the animation graph, we've already implemented some stuff in here. So this is the layer blending. As you can see right here, we have a lot of complex layering system as we have in the ALS. So as you can see, here's the layer blending. This is a very complex layer blending system, but it's very good. It works very good. So as you can see, when you press Q and let go of it, as you can see, you're able to aim, and it works really, really good. But as you can see, when you turn very fast, the character snaps. I don't know if it happens the same. It happens the same thing in the project that Polygon's Hive did, which is this one right here. So as you can see, this is the full GASP plus ALS project that there is available. I think this is the best one available in the internet that Polygon's Hive made. You can check out his channel, link in the description down below. So as you can see, he has done the system right here, which is very good. It works very good. Although we have the same snapping effect when you aim fast to his back. When you do a 180. And we're going to have to fix that as well pretty soon as well. But it works pretty good. We have some of the issues with IK. So if you aim, as you can see, his arm glitches a little bit. As you can see right there. And I have no idea how to fix that yet. What are your PCX specifications? I have a RTX 3080, i9 12th gen, and 64 of RAM to run the heavy projects that I work with. So let's go back to the game animation sample. All right, so let's just work on the weapon system pickup. So let's go ahead and create a new blueprint. So let's go ahead and go to create a new folder, and let's name it to be weapon, or just weapons. We're going to create a new folder called pistol 1H. And then in here, we're going to create a new actor, and this is going to be pistol 1H. I don't know if this is the best way to do it. Let me see. You could either create like this a blueprint class for all of the weapons that you want to have, or just create every single individual weapon systems, individual blueprint classes for each weapon type. Or we could have just one like master blueprint for the weapons, and then create like child versions of that same blueprint class, and then just change the type of the weapon. So what about the monitor? How much inches? I use a 30. I use 3 monitors. I use for the main one I use 32 inches. On my left one I have a 27 inches monitor, and the right one I use for reading. So I have a 27 inch on the portrait mode. So I guess I'm gonna just go ahead and create a individual blueprint classes, because this is the best way of just simplifying things. So let's create a pistol 1H blueprint class, and this blueprint class is going to, I can just drag and drop into the world. So let's see where my character is. Okay, it's right here. Let's just play. Okay, this is where my character is going to spawn. And I'm just going to go ahead and just drop that weapon there. As you can see, there is nothing there. So I'm just going to go ahead and add the pistol. Let's see where it is, the pistol. I think it's called M4 pistol. Let's see, characters, where is it? Okay, I think if we add the skeletal mesh first and go down to the skeletal mesh asset, you're going to scroll down. I think you're going to be able to, yeah, you're going to be able to see the M9 in here. And you can choose any weapon that you want. I think I'm going to choose another weapon. Let me see if I have in this project here. Yeah, I think I'm going to choose this weapon here. I'm just going to migrate the files to be there in the folder. So the name is handgun. So let's type handgun in here. Or in here. There you go. Hello, new journey. All right. All right, I guess the first thing we're gonna do here is just enable the physics. So we're going to check if this has the physics necessary. Okay, it definitely doesn't have any physics at all. So we're going to check that out. Let's see if it has physical acid. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Physical simulate physics. Let's set it to be default. Simulate physics. Yeah, it did. Invalid simulate options, body is set to simulate physics, but collision enable is incompatible. So I'm just gonna go ahead and change change the collision preset. It's no collision. So let's just do custom, and trace responses always has to be blocked. Camera no. Traversable definitely not. All right. Collision enable is going to be physics only. So as you can see now the weapon is dropping into the ground and the character can step up on it a little bit, I guess. I guess what's really moving the weapon is the character's capsule component itself. So if you get it to be off, hidden in game, you can really see that what's really dragging the weapon is only the capsule itself. Yeah. So we're gonna, oh. What is that? When I press F, the character tries to pick up the weapon, but the layering system is not set up at the moment. I would love to try a build. I mean, yeah, for sure. Just send me on my Discord. I will be happy to test it out when I have the time. How are you doing, by the way? I'm doing great. How about you? Sorry for asking a lot. What's the average hours you spend per day in your project? Well, in general, I think I spend like 8 to 10 hours working on projects so far. So let's see. What do we have in here? Weapon pickups. So we currently have this logic here called weapon pickups. But for the layer blend per bone, we only set the bone name to be the pelvis. So that's why when you press F, as you can see, the character can be able to pick up the weapon, as you can see right there. But if you're running or moving with the character, it's going to look weird because it's not made for that. This pickup animation was made for when the character is standing still. So we need to make sure to stop the character when he's picking up a weapon or just moving slow. And those, as you can see here, we have values. So those two values here, we have to fill it up. And those are be dynamic values. Those are be calculated automatically once we get the traces set up. But as you can see right here, this is when this value on the vertical axis is 1, is -1 actually. And so the character is going to be, let's see how this is going to affect the spine. So when you press F, okay, it works great, yeah. Works better than I thought. So when you press F, the character is going to be able to pick it up if this value is -1. Now if the character, if the weapon is on his right side, then the values should be -1 for all of them. So let's just try it out. So the left and right is going to be -1. So let's see if this is going to work. All right, we have a little bit of animation hiccups right there. The character snaps a little bit. I don't know if the animation is longer. Let's check it out. So in this animation, we have 1 second and 3 milliseconds of animation. I think all of them are the same. They all have the same duration. Okay, so if we get this boolean to be set to false a little bit earlier, I think that could be the issue. So let's say a little bit earlier, let's say 8 milliseconds. Of course, using delay is not the right way to do it, but as we're just prototyping now, I think it's valid to test things out before we can make a proper system like this one for the pickup animation. All right, I guess that's a lot better. Of course, later we can just add the IK to really correct the position of where the character touches. To really correct the position of where the character reaches the weapon. So with IK, I think it's going to be a lot better later. And if you click here on the blend, poses by boo, this node here, you can actually choose the blend type, the mode, you can actually choose the curve. So here we have the linear curve, which is the most common used one. We also have the, I like to use this one or this one called Hermite Cubit in out. I think those are the best curves for types of blends like this ones. The character blends out a lot smoother. As you can see right here, the foot of the character, it floats a little bit in the air, but I think that's because of the animation itself, not the overall system. But we can try to give the blend depth to be 3 to see what happens. Like the blend is going to be a little bit more, it's going to be more subtle, but as you can see, I think it fixes that. So if you put it to be the blend depth, if you put it to be 2, I think that's going to be the sweet spot, the overall sweet spot for the blend. Yeah, but there's a problem here, which if you do that, if you do the blend depth to be 2, the character is not going to reach the ground if yeah. If you do 0 for the blend depth and the character is going to reach the ground, if it's playing the animation to reach the ground, it is going to reach the ground. But if you start doing like 3, the character is not going to even crouch to pick up the weapon. So I think it's better for giving it a blend depth of 0 for all the circumstances. Or maybe like 0.0.2 maybe. That's going to be, yeah, we cannot add like 0.2 the types of values in here. It's either just it has to be rounded. Hi, is it possible to change the basic animations in GASP? For example, when you run, I haven't tried to change the run animations, but I guess it's very complex to do it. I've never tried it myself. In case if someone finds a video that they show in the video how to change those run animations in the GASP, let me know, because I also want to know. You know Blender? No, just the basics. Sorry if this has already been asked, but how did you get started with the Unreal Engine? Was it just a hobby at first or part of your job? Well, at first it was just part of my job. No, part of a hobby. I think I started like 3 years ago. I started working as a level designer first, and then I got into Unreal Engine by a recommendation of a friend, but also because I liked programming and developing games since the beginning of my career as a level designer. But yeah, I started as a hobby, and then I started making those YouTube videos to help other people to figure out stuff. Just so before, so I think before picking up a weapon, for example, I'm taking a look at, I'm recently playing a lot of The Last of Us 2, and I notice how the pickup system is made. But in this system, I think we're going to have to stop the character movement so that we don't cause any glitches. Let me see what happens when you run, when you move, or just when you walk and try to pick up a weapon. Okay, yeah, it looks surprisingly good. I didn't expect that to work that good, but if you stop, okay, if you run, if you walk, yeah, I think it works good. I didn't expect that, to be honest. Let me see about how it's going to perform when you pick up in the middle. So let's see. So press F. Okay. Yeah, this is a little bit complex. So for picking up the weapon in the middle range, like this, when you're walking, it looks weird, but when you're standing still, it looks the best. So we could either try to make a very complex system that's not really necessary right now, or just make the character to stop before he can pick up the weapon, and then remain remain just standing still, not moving at all, while until the action is finished of picking up the weapon, or any weapon that you find, or any weapon that you can be able to pick up. So I think you're gonna have to add a, let me see about this node stop movement immediately. Let me see how it performs. Let me debug this. And if you're moving, press F. Okay. Yeah. Let's make it to be wants to walk. Press F. All right. Let's see which key we press for walking. Okay. Wants to walk. I see. So perhaps if we do, if you click on here on this, this is basically a character input state, which holds a lot of values, a lot of different values. So it's a structure. And you can add as many types of variables into that structure if you want to. And the variable type is character input state type. If you search that in the content browser, character state input type, character input state, you're gonna be able to see that you have all the possible type of movements regarding if the character is sprinting, walking, strafing, or aiming. And you can also add a new variable right here. So you can add a new, any type of variable that you want. You can now just, excluding, I think, arrays, you can now add arrays in here, or any other type of variable, but only variable types, simple variable types. And if you click here on the set members in character input state and click here on this arrow, you're gonna be able to see which input which ones you want to be able to select. So here it's wants to aim is set as true, but if I want to set the character to be able to walk, I just have to click on here. So you can add a new option in here. So if I do this and mark this as a true boolean and press on play, as you can see, what I want to do is that when I press F, I want the character to be able to normally walk. So right now the character is just, I would say in the middle of not just moving. Now this is the state of walking, I think. Press which button do you press to walk again? Oh yeah, the left control. So if you press the left control, you can make the character to walk. If you press again, you can make the character to move or just run. Yeah, I think this is the running pose, the running mode. And if you press the left shift, you can make the character to sprint. Now let's say if I press the letter F. Okay. So the character is now walking. So the character has to stop completely to be able to pick up the weapon. So what I'm gonna have to do is set a delay. And on that delay, I could block the player's movement, the character's ability to walk from the input of the player based on this boolean here, play, pickup, pistol animation. But then I'm gonna have to create another boolean. I think it's better to create another boolean called prepare for pickup. Like this. And of course, there's a lot of testing. We have to test things out. Perhaps this is not the best way to do it. Perhaps there are other ways to do it, but you just gotta try things until it works. And that's just the way how it goes. So what I'm thinking right now is just create a boolean called prepare for pickup, so that we can stop the character, the input of the player, which is then going to be much more better and precise for when the character is going to be able to, for the character to be able to pick up the weapon. So let's just try it out. So let's set this to be true. I think this is the best way. Boom. And press on play. And in here, we have to check out which movement input moves the character. So as you can see, this the character is moved by, this is the input action to move the character. If we just branch and the condition is going to be false. If you press one of the ASD keys, the character is not going to be able to move, because essentially just sending input for the character to walk, but something's blocking it, which is this branch right here. So we're gonna go ahead and create, just plug that in there, and prepare for pickup. So if the prepare for pickup is true, then we're going to block the player's movement input, which is going to basically stop the character to be walking. So let's see how that goes. And of course, we're going to have to set a delay here because I think it's going to be a lot better. So let's say just 5 milliseconds. Okay, so we're normally walking. I don't know why the current state of the character when I play the game is walking. I think but before it wasn't like that. Let me check the default value. Let's walk. Character input state. Yeah, the default one is wants to walk. Let me just disable that and press and play again. Yeah, there we go. That's fixed. Now, go. Okay, so let's just press play. Okay, but now the character suddenly stops. I don't like that. So let's not use the stop movement immediately. Oh, okay, that looks a lot better. So the stop movement immediately is a node that you can use for stopping the movement of the character immediately. So, but you can cause the motion not to look good sometimes. I would like to watch a video about your story about the start of game development journey. Yeah, I don't have a specific video about that, but I started really small, just learning stuff on YouTube. Everything I learned was from YouTube. So I used to watch a YouTube channel called, I think, Matt Asplund. Yeah, I started watching his YouTube videos. I think the oldest ones are the oldest ones are in Blender, but this guy has made my journey a lot easier by his videos. Of course, not every tutorial I could like learn and be able to reproduce the same results that he had, but one of his popular YouTube videos has helped me a lot on making the blend spaces, and he taught me a lot. Is CS degree required to learn Unreal? I'm not sure. CS degree. Thanks, Psychic. Greetings from Brazil. Hey, local. How does it feel to stream game dev, and is it worth? Because I want to start it too. By the way, what's your schedule for streaming? Do you stream daily? Yo, is this recorded? Yes. I was. Do I stream daily? No. Maybe I could stream like 3 times a week. Yeah, if it feels right to you, we can just do it yourself, stream the game dev. It's just up to you. uh, you ever look into balanced ragdolls like the game Hyperbox? Hyperbox. What is this game? Have you ever looked at balanced ragdolls like that game Hyperbox, or is he cheating the balance? I'm not sure. Be linked to make a similar hit reaction to Euphoria. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've took a look at some of the ALS Euphoria ragdoll. That looks really nice. It looks like really. It really looks nice, like this one right here. It looks really nice. It really feels that the character is just suffering to death. But yeah. As you can see, his legs are the left leg is just it's kind of weird because of the IK. Because of the IK. We could solve this in two ways. We could either disable the IK when the character stops, or we could play a animation for the character that would correct his foot before we could play the pickup animation. If that makes sense. And I guess this variable, I think the best option, I think the best name for giving it, it would be for like block players, block players movement input or block movement input. It's up to you. I think I'm going to keep it as block. Yeah, block movement input. I think it makes sense, and it's more it's more clean this way. And whenever you wish to block the player's movement input, you can just enable this variable here. And I'm also going to add this variable as soon as the animation finishes. So, which means it's after 8 milliseconds. So this delay has to match the weapon pickup animation duration. So as soon as you pick up the weapon, press F. Press F again. Okay. Let me see where the lag IK is. Okay, so this is based on the alpha. If we just ignore the lag IK, let me see what the result is going to be like. Okay, a lot worse. So I think we okay. Yeah, it's going to be a lot worse. So let me see if we can try to find another solution for this. I think playing animation montage could be able to fix it. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to find a maybe a turn in place animation. Let's see place, let's see turn stand 45. Yeah. And what I'm gonna do is just copy this animation here and paste it here. So this is a I don't know what M stands for. Maybe it's motion matching. Neutral stand turn 0.45 degrees to the left. Maybe I think to the right is going to make more sense. So I think it doesn't matter. But what I'm going to try to do is just I'm going to name this animation sequence. Should be named as foot correction. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the root motion so that the character can be able to do something like this. And I'm just going to create a animation montage. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's try it. All right. I see that this animation is very long, so I'm just going to end it here at 89 milliseconds. So in here on the animation segment, you can choose the end time. So let's say 0. I want it to end at 89 milliseconds. That's the end frame, the end of the animation. And let's see if this is going to work. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but the rate scale is going to be 1.2. I think it's just going to be really quick. And I want to try to make this animation to last 5 milliseconds because that's the end goal. So maybe we could cut it to be 70 and make the blend in to be Hermite and the blend time to be 0.15. So it's going to last 15 milliseconds to blend in to the full blend in of this animation here. And yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work. So correction. So play montage. I'm going to select that montage to play. I'm going to get the mesh. And place it here. Before that, and let's see how it goes. Actually, is this really the... Is this really the place where it was supposed to be? I don't know. Press play. Okay. It's like stop, and then... Okay, that's a little bit better. Let's be honest. The end time is going to be maybe 9. When I press F, it's like stop, pick up the weapon, stop, stop. Yeah, I guess that's a little bit better. Let's select the duration time to be dot 8, so that we can give space to the animation to play fully. This animation montage to play fully. So this animation montage is going to be to be correct foot with a turn animation with a simple okay. And that's really going to depend on your project specific needs, because maybe you want the character to be able to pick up the weapon as soon as possible, or maybe you want a more realistic movement where you want your character to be able to pick up the pistol as realistic as possible, but with the delay. So it's really up to what you're trying to achieve, honestly. I'm going to give this a blend time to be .5, 25. Let me answer some of the comments here. How you manage time learning while doing a job? How you manage time learning on Unreal while doing a job? I don't know how to answer that. Hey, what do you do? What are you doing? We're just doing a simple bug fix where basically overall this is a implementation of the ALS plus GASP system, or vice versa. I don't know. We're just implementing the ALS overlay system into this GASP system here, and so far we did a very good job by implementing the layer blending. The curves work pretty good. I still have to do a little bit of job in here to fix the missing parts that are missing here. But yeah, I think as you can see, the layers are working pretty good. The character can aim up, down, horizontal as well. We're gonna have to fix some issues here when you aim backwards, when you do 180. The character snaps a little bit, and we're gonna have to fix that out later. We're gonna have to fix that up later. Right now, just trying to fix unusual movements of the character when he picks up the weapon, because without the animation, the foot glitches a little bit. As you can see, the left foot is a little bit glitching. I'm gonna try to see if I can try to maybe move or not affect the legs, because when I move, as you can see in the animation, we have the legs of the character to be how can I say this? Let's go back to the weapon pickup, because his legs are like this, right? And then when you pick up the transition, the blend, it picks up the leg position as well. I think it blends with the legs. And as soon as you stop like this, you stop with the left foot up, which makes it so that the legs they shrink a little bit and looks weird. But although this is a minor issue, minor bug that we have, but I want to make it as smooth and fluid as possible. Maybe if I just try to blend only the spine of the character, just but if I only blend the spine, as you can see, it works good. It works much better. Let me just see which spine that is. Okay, spine 5 is the top one, and the spine 1 is it moves this the character like this, and the spine 5 moves the character like this. So if I do spine in the middle term, I think spine.2, I think I'm going to get good results. Hello, average dev. I think that's going to be a little bit better. Yeah, I know, right? This is amazing. That's amazing. So let me just try to see if I can do that with window, place actors. Let me place it just a simple cube right here. So I'm just going to put this, oops. This is a this is going to serve as a stand. So when I pick up the weapon in here, let's see, here, put it that way, and press play. Yeah, a little bit down below. Where is it? I wish you could have animations for picking up on higher higher places. I'm gonna try to see if I can find some animations to buy or hire an animator to do this. These animations are very important. As you can see, his arm is not going as far as I want. Let me see if I do pelvis, it's going to fix that. No, let me see in the animation how that works. Yeah, it's okay. It's the animation itself. For fixing this bug, we would have to have a blend space that is like AD blend, kind of blend space, which also would include the depth, the distance between his arm and the cube, or whatever the weapon is. But I think this could be fixed with IK, which could work a lot better. So once you have the IK set up, his arm is going to switch a little bit further than it actually is. So I think the IK is going to, whoa, his legs are glitching a little bit, the cube. Let me see if we can try to fix this by going to the collision settings. Or maybe the character can step up on. Let me just, no. Yeah, that's going to fix it. That's going to fix the IK issue. Is this motion matching? Yes, this is the game animation sample project that Epic Games has made. Just trying to implement the ALS overlay system into it so that we can have all the ALS poses like on this project has. So as you can see in this project, we have the full system implemented here. I like the ball animation a lot. Maybe we could try to make other. Maybe we could try to implement other ball animations that looks nicer than this one, but we're gonna see later. And we can also choose the animations for the character attacking with the ball, aiming and shooting. We're gonna try to implement that as well after the system is done. We already made good progress here because we already have the layering system running good. And the layering system of the ALS works very good. Just the 1H works very good. So as you can see, all the states. It's just that the only issue we have, well, some of the issues we have, is that when you're looking backwards, as you can see, the hand, they are very attached to the weapon. The IK really works in here, but in this project, if you try to do that with the rifle, as you can see, the hand glitches, it goes below, and I think nobody has never fixed this issue yet of the hand glitching. Anyway, I think when you go to the first person, the hands are not really there. As you can see, this I like this first person camera a lot. It makes like the character has really, it makes like the game is really GTA 5. It has the GTA 5 vibe in here, and I like this a lot. If you try to switch to pistol, it also works good. Sometimes the first person camera glitches through like this. I think this is the spring arm that's, as you can see when you move to the left or when you do, you can just see through the blocks on the first person camera. And as you can see right here. So the one way to fix it is by going to the collision settings. Going to the collision settings of the static mesh. So you can click on the block and click on the static mesh, which is the mesh that is being, affecting the camera. And here you can ignore the visibility for, if you ignore the visibility for the camera, I think, yeah, it's going to be worse. Let's do block the visibility for the camera, but ignore the visibility for the trace responses. And by doing that, let's see if that fixes. Okay, yeah, no, that's not the. Okay, let's just ignore. Yeah, now it's fixed. So as you can see in this, the camera doesn't glitch as it was before, but we still have some glitches we can see through the walls. But this is just a matter of tweaking the camera maybe to be a little bit further away from the wall based on the distance of the character to the wall, to whatever it's looking at, to its surrounding. But this is the fix, because like before it used to be like this. We can definitely see through the wall, but in this side we can only see through the wall when the character plays the animation of the stop animation, as you can see right here. He plays the stop animation and his head enters through the wall. Maybe we could place the first person camera to be a little bit backwards from the character, like this, so that to be like something like this. But in that case, I think you would see the head of the character. Maybe not. Let's test it out. Yeah, still doing that, but I think it's a lot better compared to if you move to the right or left. It doesn't glitch, and on this one it glitches. Just by changing the collision settings, we can fix that issue. Is there a fix for that hand IK? Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out a solution for that, but for now I'm just not worried about that right now. I think nobody has never fixed that hand IK yet, so I think it's a very good opportunity for us to be able to fix that on the live stream, but not right now. Now, the issue here with the weapon pickup system is that if you choose the pelvis, the character can be able to like bend. If we have the bend animations, the character picking up the animation on the ground, So when you press F, if you blend the pelvis, the character can, you know, do that. But if you blend the spine, let's choose the spine 01, the first one, which is this one right here. Let me see which one that is. Which is this one right here. It's only going to blend. It's going to only affect that part of the upper body of the character. So it's not the ideal. The character is going to do this. Yeah, it's not good. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you could choose. Maybe if you could choose like in real time which specific bone name we want to blend, it would be great. But there's no way to do that in real time. Sure, yeah, I haven't found much online regarding it. Yeah, we're gonna have to find a way to fix that. Although I'm not pretty good with IK. I'm not pretty good with IK at all. I'm not gonna lie. But that's just a matter of like learning how it works and testing things out until we can achieve a good result. Can we have this project for premium patron? Yeah. I think this project is going to be available for members on this channel. And for people on Patreon. So I guess we're gonna have to stick with the pelvis as the bone name for here. Pelvis. There we go. The mesh space rotation blend, I would check it on if we have some rotation issues. If I type it to be -1 and press F, yeah, I would only check it on if I have some rotation issues. If you have some bone distortion issues, so like the character over rotating his spine or any bone, then you can check it on. And that's it. The character can still step up on the cube. Strangely enough, let me just. Can collision. Set it to be off. And object type is going to be destructible and yeah. Just set it to be all ignore. Oops. Not all ignore. I have to block some things here. And yeah, there we go. So I think the problem is solved now. The character cannot be able to step up on the block anymore. I think this IK system that they have implemented here is it only checks for objects that are maybe on the word static as an object type. So you have if you have the collision settings, the object type to be as word static, I think the IK is going to work. I'm not sure. Oh, okay. That's pretty bad. The IK is going to really glitch. I don't know how to fix that yet, but let's just make it to be word static. Okay, so let's make it to be visible for traces. Yeah, now visible for traces, it works. Yeah, all right. All right, so let's just go ahead and do the calculation for the weapon system. So the idea here is that we can select a animation, basically select the right animation for based on the height and distance of where the weapon actually is, so that we can make the character to pick up the weapon realistically. So we have this blend space here set up, which basically, depending on the value we have, it chooses where the character should place his hand. As you can see, it works great to all sides. So we have to basically select the right value, and so that the character's hand can reach the specified location of where the weapon is. And I've already done this on this project here. As you can see, the character can pick up the weapon based on the location of where the weapon is. So as you can see, I launch a box trace by channel or object channel, or by object type, and you can pretty much have that same effect that we're going to be going over this time. So as you can see, it works very good. And you can explode the barrels to have the satisfying effect. You can also shoot the target. And you're also gonna have to get a way of doing the shooting animation. As you can see, this shooting animation is not really an animation. It's just an effect that you can just move the bone up, move the hand of the character up like this. So as you can see, what I basically do is just reference the hand R, the right hand, and I just basically layer, put this on the timeline, and then I just move the hand of the character like this, so that he can shoot as it is right here, based on the timeline value. So if you change the timeline, it's going to, if you change the timeline value, I think it's going to change like how fast the character shoots, how fast the animation is of shooting. Let me see where that is. Oh, it's right here. So this is the recoil effect. And it lasts. So this is the recoil effect, and this is basically how long the character's hand should be up, and then like how long and what time frame it should go back down. So if you adjust like right here, character's hand is going to just be really, it's going to have an effect there. If you place it right here, I think this is the right curve, I'm not sure. Yeah, this is the right one. So as you can see, this effect is a little bit worse. So this way you can tweak how the recoil effect is going to take effect. How the recoil is going to take effect. And perhaps later we can add a cross in the middle of the screen so that we can see where we're shooting. A crosshair. So we're going to take a look at the what I've done here on the, where is it? When you press F, okay. So when you press F, we spawn a box by trace. I'm not sure where that is. Okay, F. All right. So when you press F, the intention that we want is to either pick up the weapon or drop the weapon. And I've done this way here. There's another key so that you can press on the, I think the triangle. I'm not sure which key I used on the gamepad, but you can also press that. So this goes to a branch and checks if the character already has the handgun. And then it either chooses if you want to attach the gun or detach in case the character has already the gun in his hand. So that's pretty much what we're gonna have to do in here. So let's go back to the sandbox character. And here, when I press F, I check if the character can pick up the weapon. I guess we could also do another check if the character speed is more than, like, let's say 400 units per second. I guess that's how it's called. We can also have some sort of other checks. Check characters speed, for example. And here we're going to check for pickup. I don't know what this one is for. So let's take a look at the attach phase. So of course, if the character is not falling, I'm just going to copy and paste so that I can be a lot faster. Don't really have to too much work with this. So I'm just going to extend this, and I'm going to call this check phase. Yeah, this is really messy, so let's get this to be right down here. I have more space. So what I'm gonna do is just copy Ctrl C and Ctrl V in here so that I can prototype faster. So here we're gonna have to check if the character is not falling. And this is going to be the attach phase. I'm going to color this to be blue. So that I know that the following code is going to be the attach phase, which is basically, actually this is the check for attaching. For attaching pistol. Now, if it's not doing any traversal action, then continue. We also need that check. So just copy paste. So here we're basically checking if the character is not falling. So we get the character movement. We get the is falling node. This function here is already implemented into Unreal. So you don't need to actually make it. You just have to read it from the character movement component, which is this component right here, which makes the character to have all the necessary values and calculations for making the capsule to move, basically making the character to move in the world. So you basically get that information from the character component to see if the character is falling or not. If the character is not falling, then we can continue. If the character is not doing any traversal action, we can continue. What else? So here we can finally spawn a simple box collision in front of the character to check for the weapon. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. Yeah, I'm just not going to copy this right now, just get the box trace for objects. So let's do box trace for objects. And for making it better, I think I'm gonna have to create a new collision setting, a new collision type. So we're going to go ahead and go to edit. We're going to go to the project settings. And here we're going to go to collision. And here we have the object channel and the trace channel. I'm gonna do object channel for now. So I'm going to add a new object channel here. And the name is going to be weapon in general. So this is going to serve as any type of weapon. Unless you have a specific trace for detecting specific weapons. If you need that, then that's good. Then you have to create other types of, maybe individual weapon types for the object channels. But I'm going to choose just weapon first. The default response is going to be block. And just go ahead and close this. And I'm just going to compile, save. Usually have to compile so that the engine can recognize the new type of object channel that you've added there. So here we have the box trace for objects. So it requires you to place different values in here for the position as where where exactly the box trace is going to be positioned in the world. So you're going to choose all that in here. You're going to choose also the size of the box, the rotation, and the object type is going to just go ahead and drag off this and get the make array so that we can have a list and select the right object type for whatever we're trying to detect. So here we're going to choose weapon and compile, save. Now we're just going to connect that. So as we want to only identify this type of object, as we've stated here, as we've selected here, we're going to want to have the pistol to be set as weapon types to that collision setting. So let's go ahead and go to the pistol 1H, go to the skeletal mesh, and here on the collision presets object type, here you're going to choose the weapon. So the trace, what that's going to do is that the trace is only going to detect this pistol object type. So whatever else you have in the world is not going to be able to detect. So what that means is that you can have like a huge trace to detect other weapons around, and that's not going to impact the performance. So that's why it's important for you to create a object type so that the trace cannot cost too much on performance. So here I'm going to just enable the draw debug type so that we can actually see the box in the world, so that we can actually see the trace. So I'm just going to do for duration. And here I'm just going to connect it to here, so that actually we don't need to connect it to here, so that we can just see how the box trace is going to be spawned in the world. So for the start, I don't actually know the values for the start. Let me check it out to see if... Okay, so here I have a very simple calculation for placing the box right in front of the character. So I'm just going to copy and paste this, but first I'm going to explain what's going on in here, because maybe some people don't know what's going on in here. So so here we get the forward vector, and this is calculated, this is multiplied by, so this is the get actor forward vector node, which is basically gets the forward the front of the character. So as you can see, this arrow here, EM is forward, so it gets that forward vector, and then it multiplies by 31, which is the length, like basically it gets the front of the character and then multiplies by 31 to get the length of how far from the front of the character the box should be. So if you pump this value up to 90 and press play and press F again. As you can see, the trace is now way far. Yeah, I don't know why that bug is there, but as soon as you press F, the trace is going to be far away. If you type like 300, the trace is going to be even further away. And you're going to be able to reach the weapon like this. But yeah, so before it was, I think, 31. So here you can decide how far the trace should be. And here we combine with the location of the character, because without the location, we don't really know where to place. Because without combining with the location, we don't really know how relative is it from the front of the character. So that's basically all this is relative. So I don't know how to explain this as much as I wanted to, so as much good as I wanted to, but this is how it works. And then we get the trace to be a little bit lower. And by doing this, by getting the trace to be a little bit lower, because we don't have that, let's say just 1 or just none, just 0, 0. If you just get the trace to be like this, we're not going to be able to identify the objects that are on the ground. So if you press F, you're not going to be able to identify the objects that are on the ground. Maybe this could be fixed by getting the half size and increasing the half size of the box trace by channeling in here. So that's not really needed. I'm just going to let it to be 90. So that's basically how it goes. I'm going to try to replicate everything live without needing this code right here. So basically what we're going to do is get the get actor forward vector. And then we're going to multiply to give it the distance, like how further away from the character, from the front of the character, the box should be. I'm going to basically right click on this value in here and go to float. And this is going to determine how far away it's going to be. So I'm going to do 31 as it is in there. I think it's a pretty good value. I'm going to convert this to a function so that we can get this code to be a little bit more clean. I'm going to also select the object types in here. So I'm just going to select all of the 3 nodes, and I'm going to collapse into a function. Now this function is going to be called, maybe, I don't know, calculation. It could be any name, calculation for weapons. And as I want this to be more clean, I'm going to mark it to be pure, so that we have it like this as a little box, and it doesn't require the execution pins as we have in here. So it doesn't require us to do this and then finally connect that to here. So if you just make it pure, we're just going to go ahead and do it like this. It's a lot more cleaner, a lot more nicer. That's how it works. All right, so, and then finally we're going to get the actor location, and then finally multiply, not multiply, just sum up with this values. I think that's how it goes. Yeah, I actually forgot how to do this. So in here we have the start and the end. If you want, you can put those to either both sides, both to start and end. It basically chooses where the start, where the box position should start and where it should end. But that doesn't necessarily mean the size of the box itself. It just determines where the box is going to reach in those specified distances. Yeah, I guess that's very much complex to explain. But if you have like a line trace for objects, you specify where that line trace is going to be. So let's say paint. Where's paint? Yeah, paint. So here we select maybe, we specify where the line trace is going to start, for example. So it's going to start in the word like this, on this coordinate. And then I want it to end on this coordinate right here. So based on those two positions, what the function is going to do is just going to draw a line between the start and end points, right? So it's going to draw a line like this. So that's what the draw trace for object does. You just specify one location and the start location and the end location, and they just draw a line. In the case of the box trace, as this is a box collision type, it happens the same thing. Maybe the end point, the start point is like right here, and the end point is like right here. So it draws a box like over here, like this. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit, you can see like the result, how this is going to happen, how this happens in the weapon system project files. Weapon, yeah, project files. As you can see, it draws two boxes following the start and end locations, but you don't actually necessarily need to do this in this case, as this is a box where you can just like increase the size of the box on the vertical axis. So I think we're just going to connect that to end, start and end. Let's just see how it goes. I'm very curious to see what's the result. Of course, we have to set up the half size. So for the X, I think this determines the, I don't know if it determines the width or the length. Let's just type 40 for the Y and for the Z. So this is a perfect square. So when you press F, so this is a perfect square. If you want to increase it on the Z-axis, which is the height of the object, you can do 90. I think 90 is going to work. I think it's a little bit, it's a little bit big. So let's say 70. Are you using the original ALS or one of the community versions? I'm using the, as this example, I'm using the GASP plus ALS system as a base, because this system is already done. As you can see, it works. And I'm using this as a base, but I'm not doing exactly that. I have some changes here that I've made on the, as you can see, it's not the same. I prefer doing it this way, using animation layers instead of linked animation graphs and linked animation layers. I don't like that. I just prefer to use animation layers like this, so that I can keep everything into one graph, and it's a lot easier to manage them. So I'm just basing the system off this code right here for making the implementation of the ALS plus GASP. Wouldn't it be better to use an optimized C++ version? Yes, for those who who know C++, they can definitely use the much more optimized version. Using the C++ code. I'm not sure about the performance though. I'm gonna have to check it out. Start and points. Yeah, now I need this value to be a little bit more down. So I'm just going to subtract it and just do 20, just so that you can be a little bit more in the ground. Yeah. Okay. The height is going to be, I think 60 is the best value. And then just after that, we can do 30 for making it to be a little bit down, And I think that's the perfect height because the character cannot reach more than that. If you have like more animations that the character reaches the top of, shelves, for example, you can be better. You can place the the square a little bit up, like right here, if you have those animations. Or maybe when you have the IK system, it's not going to really be needed, the animations, but I think it's better to have if you want like more better results and smooth animations as possible. So you're gonna have to use those animations. So I think everything is done in here. And yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream now. I think it's been some hours. They're doing live, and in the next tutorial, in the next live, I think we're going to finish this weapon system pickup here with, of course, with simulating physics. And we're gonna see how it goes from there. So yeah, that's going to be it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. And I see you there. I see you next time. Bye-bye.